to as well, like let's go to as another problem which may face in like not just the multi-variable linear regression, even in if we have a single variable as well. So let's say like we have a graph. So let's say we have a graph here. So where you have values something like this. So this initially, what we'll try to do is let's try to fix it with the kind of a theta naught plus theta 1 x. Okay, so this is x and this is y. So for this, we'll be getting some kind of, let's say some straight line like this. So with which we'll be getting some errors here. Okay, so these are the errors for each of this one. So for minimizing errors, what we can also do is add more complexity. Okay, adding more complexity. Let's add complexity with another color. Okay, now I have added more complex value here. So x square, which actually the graph of y equal to x square or something, if you take, it will be like this or like this, right? So with such kind of thing, so you can get some value like this. Okay, but still you got some errors. Okay, like minor errors, comparatively it is better, but you may have got like some better errors. Okay, some better accuracy compared to previous one. So so after this, let's try to increase a complexity even further. Let's try to add one more value, theta 3 x cube as well. And now all this, like from x square, it has become a multi-variable regression as well. So let's see what it is doing. Like if it is x3, maybe something like this you can get. Okay, some kind of one more, we are adding one more complexity where now error is even much accurate than a previous value. Okay, so now again what I'm doing is I'm again adding like one more in the kind of in the intention to reduce further error. Maybe I'm adding like 5, 6, something so on. Okay, so a very high complexity one. Then actually you'll be getting something like this. You can even get a kind of almost zero error like this. Okay, but let's see that black curve. Like is it really representing what you are intended to do? So in this case, you are connecting each and every dot here, right? So wherever it is there, you are connecting each and every dot. Okay, so let's say some case like you have one variable somewhere far high somewhere. So what it will also do is, let me add that as well to our curve here. Oh, it is completely changed. Okay, so what we are trying to do is like it will actually, it's not actually finding some pattern over there, but just connecting each of them. Okay, so this is really in case there is a new data point here. Okay, so some new data point somewhere here. So and like you want to predict some value over there. So actually in case if you are giving for training, even it will even like, okay, for a new data point you can't do it. Okay. For a new data point somewhere I can do undo. Okay. Okay, so just a moment. So this, let's say those are the graphs for like different complexity. So for a kind of a new data point, in case if you have something like this, okay, this is a graph sudden where you have sudden variable for a new x. See, for here it is like this. For just next point, if you want to predict, should it be this or this? Like maybe somewhere you can't actually get it right. Like here maybe the values are in 50, here the values are in 100. You don't know exactly. Maybe like suddenly if it is like varying like that, so you may have some value 70 or maybe 100, 90. You can't really get the patterns over there. Okay. So what actually, but is it supposed to be in reality? Will it vary something like this? It's no. Let's take the case of a linear, like house prices itself. For increasing your square feet, let's say like because of something, let's draw area versus price. So if you take, mostly what you'll have is something like this, right? So some values, if you can see something like this, you'll be getting some like if you say I have 1,000 feet, 1,000 square feet, then like price we told is as like 40 lakh. And for this is one more point which we have in training data, which is like 1,200, 1,100 square feet, where I told like 60 lakhs. Okay. So if you like no 80 lakhs, let us say, like it went to very high position and it went to 80 lakhs. So somewhere around like 1,050 or like 1,010 something. So for that, should I say this in case if you are doing some kind of graph like this, right? So you'll be having something like this. Okay. So can I say 40 or 80? The difference is too much, right? So that is not actually recommended. Like this is the value what you'll be getting. Maybe for your training data, you have properly fit your graph and made accuracy almost to zero. But in reality, when you use that model for a new accuracies, right? So new values, right? So it actually is not at all useful. Okay. So this kind of thing, like what we say, it is overfitting. So overfitting actually means you have added complexity more than required, and you have fitted each data point for its accuracy. So okay, for each like this, like this, you have added it. Okay. So you, if you have something, let's say like if you have graph something like this versus something like this. Okay. So which actually you feel it is useful is this, right? Because this is having so much complexity in it, and rather than that, you are not actually finding a trend or a pattern in it. Okay. Here it is very clear. If you have price, area versus price, so you can say that like initially for still certain point it will increase to the square of it, and at some point it will try to saturate. Like it won't increase like previously, it will slowly saturate at some point. Okay, this is what is the idea what we are getting from area and price, right? Here, but here are you getting same values here, like same kind of insights here? No. So this is not useful, but this is much useful even though your training accuracies are less. Okay, so how actually are we going to determine training and testing, in case if your model is good? Because till now, what we thought is, in case your accuracy is good, like we treated that like that model is better, right? If our error, like whatever we are finding out our errors earlier, right? So where are the errors? So this loss function, this error function, in case if our error is less, then we used to say that mean square error is less, then we used to say our model is good. But if you take for this, right, this black one, you'll be getting our mean square error as almost zero. But if you take the green one or blue one, you'll be getting a lesser mean square error, means like, sorry, more mean square error. But that model is actually comparatively better than a previous model. So these two statements are actually contradicting, right? So we thought if our error is less, we say that model is good, right? But now what we are saying is, if error here is almost equal to zero, in case of overfitting, error here we got is almost equal to zero, but model is not useful. That is what we are telling about now. Okay, so model is not useful. Okay, so why is this? Like these two statements are contradicting, right? You got the best error here, but you are saying like the model is not useful. So what actually should we do is, So for the data set, what you have, so let's say you have some 1,000 rows of data. Okay, so what you should be doing is you have to split your data into, usually the ratio is 80-20. Let's take this, or 60-40, anything like so we randomly take 800 rows here, 200 rows here, call this as training set, and this we call it as text set. Okay, so there is furthermore development into this, but let's talk about this as like as of now. Let's talk only about this. Okay, so this case, train test split. Okay, so we split our data like this. So, and we only use this data to train our model. Okay, we don't use the other data at all. Like we only use this 8 training data set. So let's call it X data. Okay, so as of now, let's take this as our training data, X train, and this we'll call it as X text. Okay, for each, not just X, you also have Y train for corresponding Y, and Y test. So you use this X train comma Y train to train the model. Means like if you take the scikit-learn, we will be doing model dot with using this X train Y comma Y train. Okay, so this is what you'll be doing, and you can calculate accuracies from this as well, right? So on this train data, if you calculate accuracy, we call this as training accuracy. Okay, similarly, we use this test data and Y train. So Y train you leave it, but we calculate what is the prediction with the model. We do this model dot predict, and then only pass this text. Okay, so you'll be getting Y predictions for this Y test predictions. Okay, you'll be getting this for this, and using this and this like Y test, right? So you see the difference and calculate accuracy again. So like calculate the error, and then let's talk about call it like error. Okay, not accuracies. We are talking only, we only spoke about error till now. Like this is training error, and here we have testing error. So how we will differentiate is like something like this. So in case if your model, let's call it training error, testing error. If the model is very good with training error and doing bad with testing error, we say that let's call it usefulness of model. Okay, let's call it like, because there are like other concepts that that will come in next session. So if it is so as of now, I'm only talking like usefulness, like generalizing those things. So is it useful? Like if training data means like what data we use it for training, it is doing. Testing data is something like new data, which we did not use for training model, and we are just using it for prediction. For it's like something like new data, where it is unable to predict for new data well, then that model is not useful, right? Because in reality, once you train the model, you use it only for prediction, right? So for that new data, if it is not able to predict well, then it's not useful at all. So, but if it is doing okay for training data and doing equally well for testing data as well, then we say that model is useful. Okay, but anyway, we are not going to have this scenario. mostly, right? Because like you train the model so that your training error is like good, right? So only in that case, like you'll be using this model, right? So this is a kind of never come situation, but even though in case if it is testing error is coming good, still it is useful. But usually we recommend something like this. We actually want a value where our training and testing, even mainly we concentrate on testing error. So in case maybe like I have trained one model, prepared one model, and maybe you have prepared one model. We got like many models, okay? Model, okay, let's call this model 1, model 2, model 3. Okay, so in case if you want to evaluate which model is useful for your problem, finally let us say we have 3 team members in team, okay? So which they worked on same achieving same objective. We use like they train different models, okay? So with maybe different complexity or maybe different algorithms and all. So finally, so these are the 3 models, like how they got, okay? So we will be taking the model where our testing error is good. Okay, even actually the training error should also be good. That is also recommended. But we concentrate how is your model doing? Like they have to mention how much is the testing error. Okay, what is the mean square error for testing? Similarly, comparing those testing errors, you'll be taking where it is doing best in testing. Okay, so testing is actually equivalent to the new data because we are not using it for training the model. So if it will be kind of a new data. Okay, so is this clear? Like, because this is the same thing, same approach, which we will be following in every kind of algorithm, not just like regression, even in classification or even in deep learning as well. So, okay, this is the base thing. And actually, there are like some other ways. We will do one more split that we'll be talking about it later. But as of now, this is all. So similarly,